Hello there, 7th graders. This is Mr. Kashi speaking. As you can see, I am not able to be in the classroom for this hour, so we're going to go through the lesson just as if I were there through this video. Just as usual, the materials you'll need out for today are your completed assignment, writing utensil, note sheet, and calculator. We'll be pausing this video throughout its entirety just to make sure that you have enough time to either get these things or take notes or do calculations or whatever you need to. So just don't be afraid to raise your hand. Ask the sub to pause the video so you can do those things. So if these aren't out, please pause the video and get those things out. We'll be moving on rather quickly just to save time on the video. This is our schedule for today. Hopefully attendance has been taken. If not, go ahead and pause and do that. Same thing for collecting the homework. If we have not collected the homework yet, go ahead and pause the video. Make sure you get all the homework collected. Make sure your first and last name is on it. Okay, obviously that's required for me to give you a grade. Then the third thing for today, what we'll be doing is 6-5 solving percent problems we're taking notes on solving percent problems. Okay, let's take that. Solving percent problems using proportions, and your assignment will be a worksheet. And you'll be having to complete problems for your ticket to get that worksheet. Even though I'm gone, those rules still apply. So, if all the logistical things have been taken care of, let's move on to the notes. 6-5 is our section that we are dealing with proportions, okay? And the first key point that you need is a formula. I realize there isn't a textbook page for that. It would be 298. 298 would be your textbook page for 6-5. Or sorry, 296. 296 would be your textbook page. And your formula that I just pulled out here is rather important. So textbook page is 294. Actually, 296 would be the book problems that you would be completing if it was a book assignment. Page 294 is your note. Sorry for all the confusion. Okay, this is your formula. And basically it is just a proportion. You've seen this before. Percent over 100 equals part over whole. And the whole premise of this section is that we have these four: percent over 100, part, and whole. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to be taking one of those away. So the main point is that one of these will be missing. The percent will be missing one time. The part will be missing in another situation. The whole will be missing in another situation. So we're basically going to take one of them away, give you the other three, and then you have to find the fourth through cross multiplying and dividing. But that is the main part of this section. So our first one is finding a percent. That is the next key point. Okay, so draw a line through your notes. Next key point is finding a percent. The question that we would have is what percent of 2,000 is 204? And in our general formula here, the percent would be missing because that's what they're asking, is what percent. So the percent is missing. So we have to set this up as if the percent was missing. So we have to have our proportion here. We're always going to have 100. Sorry for the sloppy writing with the mouse. Okay. Our percent is missing, so we're just going to put P in for percent. That's what we're trying to find. What percent of 2,000? 2,000 would be our whole, so it goes on the bottom. 2,000 goes right here. And 204 goes on top. Okay, and so obviously we have to solve for P here. In this case, we would cross multiply. So we have 2,000 P equals 204 times 100, which actually turns out to be 204, and add the 2 zeros, 20,400. Okay, then we're dividing by 2,000 on both sides. Let me get this out of the way here. Okay, so we're dividing by 2,000 on both sides. Okay, dividing by 2,000. Okay, in this case, these cancel. P equals, so we have to do 20,000 400 divided by 2,000, and you should get 10.2. 10.2% would be your answer. That would be your answer for this problem. Okay? What percent of 2,000 is 204? Well, it's 10.2%. Okay? So remember, that's when we were missing the percent part of our proportion there. If you need to take a while, I know it's a lot of writing, just pause it and jot the rest of your notes down, but I got to move on to the next slide here. Next key point, finding the part. Okay, finding the part. So in our general equation, this is the one that's going to be missing. Okay, so we know the percent. Okay, the percent is right here, 20% of 55. So whenever they say of a number, usually that number is going to be our whole, but they need to know what the part is. So we know 20 over 100, that we know, because it said 20%. So 20 over 100 equals, we don't know what the part is. Okay, so I know it's confusing, but I'm just using P again for part. I know we used P for percent, but we're going to use P for part here, and 55 is our whole. Okay? So now what we have to do, obviously, is cross multiply and divide. You guys are pros at this by now. So we have 100p on one side, and that is equal to 20 times 55, which is 1,100, okay, or 1,100. And then, like we're kind of trained to do, is we divide by 100 on both sides, which basically means we're just taking these zeros off, and our part in this case is going to be 11. You can check that on your calculator if you'd like. 1,100 divided by 100, we get P equals 11. So the part, 20% of 55, is 11 in this case. Okay? Once again, I know there's a lot of writing. Make sure you get it all down, but I do have to move on. Okay, finally, the last part that would be missing of our equation would be finding the whole. So in this case of our general equation, this one would be missing right there out of our proportion. So we have 80% of what number is 15. So the 15 is going to be our part. Our 80% is obviously going to go where the percent goes. So we have 80 over 100 equals 15 over, we don't know what that is, our whole, so we have to put W for whole. Once again, sorry for the sloppy writing. Okay, so from there, you guys usually know what to do, cross multiply. Okay, so we get 80 W on one side, and then we have to do 15 times 100, which 15 times 100 should just be 1,500 or 1,500 right there. Then we get divide by 80 on both sides. Okay, and we get W equals 1,500 divided by 80 would be 18.75. 18.75 would actually be our whole number here. Okay, so the part and our whole, even though it's not a whole number, 18.75 isn't a whole number. That is what we are taking the 15 out of. Okay, so 80% of 18.75 is 15, and you can double check that by just doing 0.8 times 18.75, and then hopefully you're going to get 15. If you want to do that in your calculator just to double check, that would be terrific. Okay, so that is all for the notes. The 3 key points, very important: finding a percent, finding the part, or finding the whole. Okay, and so that is the rest of our notes. Your ticket, the 3 things that you need to get done are right here. Okay, those are the 3 problems. You will not be receiving a worksheet unless you come back and show the sub that those are done accurately. Please show your work or you will not be getting your worksheet as well. Please show your steps, setting up the proportions, and solving those proportions to find your final answer. So one of each, a percent problem, a part problem, and a whole problem. So I'll be obviously back tomorrow to ask or to answer any of the questions that you guys have. We'll kind of wrap up 6-5 in our next class period, whenever that may be. and I will see you all then.